Hey there. Okay, so as usual, checking my Regal app, and out of nowhere, this trailer pops up for this movie called Brahmastra. And I'm like, what the hell is Brahmastra? What's going on? It seems like some kind of a superhero slash god movie slash, I don't know, foreign film. And usually I'm not into foreign films because, I want the dubs and I don't want to read subtitles for 2.5 hours, or in this case, 3 hours. But I was intrigued and they had it showing in 3D, so I grabbed my son and, hey, let's check this movie out and let's see what's going on. The premise from the trailers and the marketing was, well, it's based on Indian mythology and also Indian myths of like gods and legends and their stories. So I went in with an open mind, like, okay, let's check this out. And what did I think? Well, I could say one thing. I walked out and my reaction was, holy shit.
Holy shit.
If you want to know what the film is about, give me a second as I pour some good old Jack and Cranberry, and I'm going to pull up like a clip right here saying that in terms of special effects, this had more special effects than even Avengers Endgame.
The tons and tons of special effects.
And this movie had like this kind of a checkered past because it was reported to be made like 4 or 5 years ago, and production and delays and whatnot, but they just kept pumping it out and getting it ready, and it finally came out. And in terms of budget, I did look up the budget for like an Indian film and a film in Hindi. The problem is it doesn't translate over to American budgeting, so it's kind of hard. Like, I don't understand their currency. I'm not going to pretend that I do by any means. What it comes down to, it is the most expensive Hindi and Indian movie ever made. So
Spare no expense.
if I was to compare it to something, it would feel like a Infinity War or like an Endgame film in terms of budget. Like, it probably, I'm just guesstimating in our dollars, would be at least 200 million, if not 250 million dollars for this film. And okay, give me a second, start this drink, and I'm going to tell you this story about a international Hindi movie with gods and monsters and superpowers and over the top bullshit action and a lot of dancing and just a fun time. And okay, let me start this, and here we go. Good old Jack Cranberry. Okay, so what's the story? What's this about? Should you go see it? And yes, you should. And if you can't see it in theaters for whatever reason, well, at least check it out when it comes to digital or DVD or whatever. And I don't think they're going to do a dub over with this because a friend of mine, he's like, man, I can't watch the entire movie in subtitles. And okay, listen, if it doesn't get dubbed over, guys, get over it. Checking out in subtitles, it is worth it.
Let's go see it!
But what's the premise? And okay, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and
wrong movie.
but no, something actually good for a change. And so it's a story of this super weapon called the Brahmastra. It's right there in the title. And it was just this power that could destroy the galaxy and universe. And okay, Ben, they're done that. Eventually, it was broken up into 3 pieces, and we had different people were given these different powers by different trinkets. Over time, people started forgetting about their powers. They started like lessening their abilities, and just, it's a cliche that's been done time and time again where a great power, great people, and people kind of just forgot about it, and stuff just came out into myth. But now fast forward thousands of years later, and a new evil wants to take the Brahmastra, take the 3 pieces, reunite it, and just bring back evil and destroy the universe. Pretty simple.
Simple.
Now I gotta say, again, talking about the visuals, I mean, Jesus Christ, I haven't seen anything from Marvel and DC do this in the past, like, goddamn 5 years. Because this movie looks beautiful. Now, I mean, to be honest and to be a critic and talk about a quick laser review, my son was laughing next to me. He goes, Dad, are we watching the same movie? Because I'll show you with the trailer footage. Off the bat, we get this major cool parkour action over the top, special effects, fight scene, and you get to see like this glowing big monkey kind of creature. And the only problem is after that, we get like 35, 40 minutes of nonstop video after video after video, and you're like, oh God.
Enough already!
If you can get past that and have some friggin' patience, it is worth it. Yes, the first act does kind of drag with that, and I mean, it's like if you're at home, you could kind of basically fast forward and skip past like a good chunk of this stuff and just get into the second act. But once you get into the second act, and especially the third act,
Soothing action, 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 action.
and it's glorious. But the storyline itself, it's nothing new. It's nothing that's going to like, change the genre. And you know what? I'm honestly okay with that. My thing is Top Gun Maverick, going to bring up yet again for everybody this year. Top Gun Maverick doesn't have a very complex plot, nor does it need it. It's just good old fashioned fun. A film like Brahmastra, it's like if you watch any Dragon Ball Z or any kind of like, Bleach or any kind of anime, a lot of these animes, they're pretty freaking cheesy, and sometimes the lines are kind of corny. Some of it could be the translation from, Hindu to English, but you know what? I'll forgive it because it's something that, like, not say kids, but like middle kids could watch. Like, I'm going to say, even though the rating says NR because it's over in Hindu, I would say this is for Americans, maybe a PG rating because yes, there are fight scenes. Yes, there are deaths, but it's the kind of deaths where you see a character get stabbed and like there's no blood, or a character has like a flaming sword and he hits somebody and like the person, instead of like being decapitated, they kind of just like fizzle out and fire, and nothing you haven't seen if you watched basic, just anime. So it's nothing groundbreaking. The storyline is pretty cheesy sometimes, and honestly, the love story between the two main characters is been there, done that. But the main character is a guy called Shiva. Shiva, if you can tell by the trailers, he has a strange connection with fire, and he has to find out more about his past and his history, and it's a very basic hero's journey. The thing is, this feels like Marvel Phase 1, when Marvel was actually good.
A long time ago.
You have a character where he has a hidden power inside of him, he has a dark past, and eventually when said powers are kind of unlocked, you go through different training montages. You go through him taking his abilities and getting better, and eventually he has to find out what he's all about and what's going to happen. He's like the key to saving the world, and yes, again, these action tropes, these superhero tropes, these like even anime tropes, they're cliche, they're been there, done that, and you've seen this 1,000 times before. But I have to forgive it because when the action kicks in, it's so over the top and so fantastic that, fuck it, just sit back and enjoy the ride.
कुछ ऐसी शक्तियां हैं जो अस्त्रों में भरी हुई हैं.
The side characters are fantastic, and they're there for what they're there for, and I can't really break down all the freaking names because I'll butcher it, and so much is going on at one time that, like, I'm not even going to try to, like, look them up and bore you guys with the details. But from a visual standpoint, even the cheesy kind of like, music scenes and stuff, they are fantastic looking. There's so many beautiful wide shots. There's so many different sections of India. The colors are vibrant. The action is over the top. The music is fantastic. But it comes down to, for someone like me, the fight scenes. Every fight scene, every friggin' punch, you feel it, you hear it. It's so well choreographed, and sometimes, yes, it's doing dumb shit like breaking the laws of physics and just going over the top. But again, it's like, to me, it's like live action anime, which is not exactly a bad thing. The themes themselves, you could compare this to a Marvel film. You can compare this to, like, Captain Planet.
Captain Planet, motherfucker.
Because you have characters like, with Earth. And Wind. And Fire. And last but not least, because this is 2022 and this is something that Hollywood is constantly dealing with, you're not worrying about any kind of messages. It's just good versus evil, a hero's journey, love, some betrayal, some sacrifice, and just the power of love. And yes, some of the messages are cheesy, but you know what? My thing is, you can go back and say the same thing as an adult with any kind of like older Pixar movies or older Disney movies, and
people underestimate the power of nostalgia.
If you want awesome visuals and just sit back and enjoy people channeling fire or using water or taking air effects with over-the-top action scenes, this is the film for you. If you want a deep plot and complex story and complex characters, you're not going to get that here. It said Shiva and Isha, a very basic love story. Even my son was laughing, like, I've known you for 24 hours and like, you're the love of my life and I've already fell in love with you, and you're like, oh God, really? Sit back, turn your brain off a little bit, and just enjoy the pretty colors. The bad guys lose, the good guys win. I'm fine with that when I go out to the theaters. It's not the best film by any means, but I've seen a hell of a lot worse, and I still would take this over anything Marvel and DC has put out, except for Spider-Man, because that's Sony, not Marvel. And that's all I can say, guys. So go out, check it out, and if it comes to DVD or digital, at least check it out and enjoy the beauty that is Brahmastra. I'm definitely going to go see part 2 and I'm going to go into part 2. This is my first Hindu/Indian film and Bollywood type film, not knowing to expect. Now, when I watch it a second time, I know what to expect in terms of like, some really cheesy over the top dance numbers and music scenes, but I'll forgive it because it's just fantasy, simple as that, and that's all I can say about it. Go check it out for yourself, okay? So, as always, check on my watch. I'm getting low on time. Got to edit this video. Yeah, drinks, they mess you up. So, as always, let me finish this, then pull out Bender, and, well, you know what's going to happen.
This calls for a drink.
I'm heading back to work.